So when you come and visit us here at the Brockville Museum, there are a couple of things that you'll notice the first thing when you come in the door. The first is our volunteer on the front desk. Morning, Nancy. And also we have the folks who are working behind me in the room right here. Now they've been up to a lot of work in the last few years, and we're going to meet with one of them to find out exactly what they've been up to. So here we are where a lot of volunteers have been doing a lot of work over the last 3 years. We began this project back in 2013 with a grant from the Ontario Trillium Foundation to try and put as many of our artifacts as possible online for people to search anywhere in the world. And this turned out to be a huge project. We have about 29,000 artifacts here in the museum, and only 6,000 of them are the 3D objects that we saw in the 3D storage a couple of weeks ago. So with me today, we have Cathy, who's one of our volunteers, and she's slogged through all of the three-dimensional artifacts, and now we're working on the archival collection, which is where our photographs and documents and other sorts of things are. So can you tell us what you and some of the other volunteers do as part of this Menisis project?
Sure. Earlier this year, we went through the binders, and using just the paper copies, we entered in the acquisition, which is sort of a placeholder for each of the objects in the database. Yes. We entered just the information. This is all we had. We entered that in the database. Now we're going through with the actual objects, and we are updating that information, putting in more detail. And to do that, we would pull out each object. This happens to be a photograph of a parade. We would use the number on the back of the artifact, and we would pull it up in our acquisition.
So that number you put in, that's how we cataloged it up until this point,
Correct.
Right?
It's called an accession number.
Yes.
Yes. And I would pull up that artifact that had been previously entered, and it was entered, happened to be entered by me. And there would be a short description already entered based on what was in the paper. I would then go through and put a more detailed description of this picture, this photograph.
So now you can actually see the picture and just make sure that that first
yes.
information that you had does line up with this. Okay.
That's correct. Yes. So I put in a detailed description of this photograph, and I would now what's called push it down to catalog, which is the part of the database that the public can view from the internet.
Oh, so once you've gone through all of this, then you have the description, and then it can be searched online pretty much right away?
Not quite.
Oh, okay.
Not quite. I then, after I put it down to catalog, I get out of acquisition, and I go into catalog, and I modify this number. I always have to be careful to wear my gloves when handling the artifacts.
Yeah.
So you get very good at typing with one hand. Okay, so this is the point where I would put it into the database.
Okay.
And I would put it web ready, yes, which means once it's set to web ready and saved, that's when the public can see it.
Excellent.
I would enter certain information, like old location codes, so that they can easily find it internally. Then I would go, this is on just the title page for the catalog.
Sure.
Then you go into the dates and locations, and this is when you enter your date. And I knew this picture was in 1949 because it was a parade that was, actually it was on the page.
Oh, that was the Centennial Parade,
The Centennial Parade, yes. So it was, that marked the incorporation of Brockville as a town. So 100 years. So I take out any information that was in the description that shouldn't be there, that we don't need to. I take it out, like the old paper description, put it in the permanent, I put in information like where it's stored here at the museum. Provenance is if we know who it belonged to previously, but this one does not have any provenance. Okay. And I can put in cataloging remarks, which the public can't see from the internet.
Okay,
these are internal notes.
Yes, because the nice thing about doing all of this work in the first place is not only is it make it available for the public to find, but we have a little bit of a better idea what we have in our collection too.
Exactly.
And we can search it a lot faster.
Exactly.
What's your favorite part about doing all of this?
Looking at the pictures.
Of course. Because you never know what you're going to find.
I grew up in Brockville. I went to school here. I was born and raised here. And it's interesting to see these things. I have gone through some of the pictures. I found my best friend's father, my neighbor, who I live next to now.
Oh, great fun.
So, I'm finding pictures of them when they were younger as well. So it's fun. It's interesting. And eventually getting up into years where I might see pictures of my friends. Or,
Oh, wonderful. So you've been working on this for 2 years now as one of our volunteers here at the museum.
June 2014.
Oh
yes.
my goodness. So we've gone through the 3D, we're working on all of the items that are in archives and everything else. And so once we get this pushed all the way through, as you were explaining to us, and you can look it up online, we still don't have all the photos up yet that you can see. But luckily we do have our interns, our co-op students, some of the other volunteers and staff members who have been working very hard on that. Now, is there anything that I missed?
No, it's just
Okay,
it's very easy to search for the artifacts now when you go in through the database or in through the internet.
Wonderful. Well, Cathy, thanks so much for your help on this project, and to all of our volunteers who've been working on this project. All of this is referred to at the museum as open drawers. It gives a chance for us to open up all of our collections for anyone to find out online, and in one of the upcoming sections of Bmuse, I'll show you exactly how to do that.